The World Cup tournament, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to showcase the greatness of America.
The German politician Jürgen Hart, a member of the Christian Democratic Union, has raised the idea of a potential World Cup boycott in a German newspaper.
Boycotting the upcoming World Cup games in the U.S., the local World Cup committee has been expecting hundreds of thousands of visitors to travel to the Metro when the matches kick off in 5 months.
The 2026 FIFA is turning into the most expensive missed opportunity in U.S. tourism history. And the evidence is mounting that international fans are not coming to the United States. They're going to Toronto, Vancouver, Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Monterrey instead. The golden goose everyone promised is flying to Canada and Mexico, while American host cities watch their projected windfalls evaporate in real time. Start with the collapse nobody wants to discuss publicly. International tourism to the United States dropped 5.4% in 2025. Not flat, not stagnant, declined. While the entire rest of the planet saw international travel increase 4% last year, America went backwards. The country about to host the single biggest sporting event the world has ever seen is the only major nation on earth that saw tourism fall. And now we are supposed to believe millions of international visitors will suddenly flood into American cities this summer? The data suggests otherwise. The World Travel and Tourism Council studied 184 countries. The United States is the only one expected to see a decline in international tourism. Their CEO stated publicly that the world's biggest travel economy is heading in the wrong direction, not from lack of demand, but from failure to act. Other nations are rolling out welcome mats. America is effectively putting up a closed sign. The economic projections tell you what was supposed to happen. FIFA and the World Trade Organization released a joint study projecting the 2026 World Cup and Club. World Cup together would generate roughly $47 billion in economic output and add $62 billion to global GDP. The United States alone was projected to see a $17.2 billion GDP boost and creation of 185,000 jobs. Individual host cities built budgets around transformational numbers. Atlanta expected over $1 billion from hosting 8 matches, including a semifinal. Dallas projected between $400 and $415 million in direct economic impact from 9 matches. Houston looked at $1.5 billion from 7 matches and training camps. Los Angeles expected nearly $600 million in total regional impact. The New York and New Jersey area hosting the actual World Cup final at MetLife Stadium projected $3.3 billion in economic impact and expected to draw 1.2 million visitors. Boston Consulting Group estimated the entire tournament would generate over $5 billion in short-term economic activity across North America, supporting around 40,000 jobs and over $1 billion in new worker wages. Airbnb alone estimated its hosts across 16 US cities would generate over $2.6 billion in revenue during the tournament. These were not wild guesses. They were built on the assumption that international tourists would show up in massive numbers, because international visitors are the golden goose of event tourism. On average, a foreign visitor to the United States spends 4 times more per person than a domestic traveler. 4 times. That means when you lose international visitors, you do not just lose bodies and seats, you lose the highest spending, most economically impactful segment of your entire audience. And that is exactly what is happening. The Canadian collapse tells the clearest story. Canada is not just any source of international tourists for America. Canada is the single largest source of foreign visitors to the United States. In 2024, Canadian visitors made approximately 20.4 million trips to the US and spent roughly $20.5 billion supporting about 140,000 American jobs. That relationship is the backbone of cross-border tourism in North America. And in 2025, Canadian travel to the United States fell by approximately 30%. 30%. That is not a dip. That is a collapse. Statistics Canada reported return trips from the US were down more than 26% in October alone compared to the previous year. The reasons layered together. A weakened Canadian dollar made trips south more expensive. Ongoing trade disputes and tariff tensions soured the overall relationship. Stricter border controls and several high-profile incidents of travelers being detained created genuine anxiety about crossing into the US. Travel experts described it as a perfect storm of political frustration, economic pressure, and personal fear all converging at once. When 20 million visits suddenly becomes 14 million visits, the ripple effects are enormous. They are being felt right now from New York to Michigan to Washington State. Border state economies that depend heavily on Canadians driving across to shop, eat, stay in hotels, and spend money in American communities are hemorrhaging revenue. But it is not just Canada. Travel from Australia, India, and Western Europe also declined. The share of global, international travel heading to the US fell from 8.4% in 1996 to just 4.9% in 2024. It dropped even further to an estimated 4.8% in 2025. Meanwhile, and this should sting, arrivals to other major tourism destinations, including France, Greece, Mexico, and Italy, all increased during the same period. The world is traveling more than ever. People have money to spend on places they want to go. They are just choosing not to come here. The US Travel Association CEO laid it out in stark terms at a recent industry conference in Los Angeles. Domestic travel was basically flat when adjusted for inflation. International inbound travel was down more than 5%, making the United States the only major nation in the world to see a decline in travel last year. The CEO of Expedia called the situation alarming. And here is where perception becomes reality, even if it is uncomfortable to acknowledge. Online forums and social media platforms are filled with international soccer fans discussing World Cup travel plans. Fans from Europe posted they had canceled everything. Fans from Latin America expressed similar sentiments, saying they simply do not feel comfortable traveling to the United States right now. The economic math gets brutal when you examine what is already happening. Several US host cities have already scaled back or completely eliminated their official FIFA fan festivals. These fan festivals are traditionally massive public viewing areas, attracting hundreds of thousands of people who do not have match tickets but want to be part of the World Cup atmosphere. They are enormous economic drivers because they bring casual tourists who spend money on food, drinks, hotels, shopping, and entertainment, even though they never step foot inside a stadium. Jersey City, New Jersey, which sits right next to MetLife Stadium, where the World Cup final will be played, has already canceled its planned fan festival. Other cities significantly reduced the scope of their planned public events. Without these fan festivals, the incentive for international tourists to visit the United States during the World Cup drops significantly. For many fans, the experience is not just about 90 minutes inside the stadium. It is about the entire cultural event surrounding it. It is about being in a city alive with the energy of the World Cup. When you strip that away, you strip away a massive portion of the economic activity these cities were counting on. Early figures from the National Travel and Tourism Office show nearly 5% decline in global visitation to the US. In January 2026, alone with forecasts suggesting this trend could persist through summer. Meanwhile, Brand USA, the national destination marketing organization responsible for promoting the United States as a travel destination to the rest of the world, had its federal funding cut deeply in mid-2025, leading to staff shortages that reduced the country's capacity to counter negative sentiment through positive promotion. So at exactly the moment when America needs to be telling the world to come visit, to be part of this incredible event, the organization tasked with doing that has been gutted. The timing could not possibly be worse. The 2026 World Cup, with 48 teams instead of 24, with 104 matches instead of 52, with the biggest stadiums and biggest media market in the world, should be exponentially bigger and more impactful than 1994. The infrastructure is there, the demand is there, the opportunity is there, but the question hanging over everything right now is whether America is going to seize that opportunity or let it slip away while Canada and Mexico quietly collect the benefits that were supposed to be theirs. The World Cup kicks off June 11th. The clock is ticking. The world is watching. And right now, a lot of the world is deciding to watch from somewhere other than the United States of America.